From WXOJLP Northampton, 103.3 FM, your Valley Free radio station. Welcome. I'm Warren Odess Gillette, and this is A Baha'i Perspective. Welcome to A Baha'i Perspective. I recorded an interview with Chelsea Lee Smith on October 22nd, 2018. Chelsea is an author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician. Chelsea has two Baha'i-inspired websites about parenting. One is called EnableMeToGrow.com, and another one is MomentsAday.com. She's authored two storybooks, Garden of Virtues and Mason's Greatest Gems, which we discuss in the interview. She also talks about her teaching at the Wilmette Institute. She and her husband have put many of the Baha'i scriptures to music, and we sample a couple. I started the interview by asking Chelsea where she grew up and what was religious life like growing up.
Well, I grew up in Asheville, North Carolina, in the U.S. Both my parents came from different churches, and when I was about 6 years old, they heard about this religion called the Baha'i Faith. So they researched it a bit and both decided to become Baha'is within the first 2 or 3 years. So I basically grew up knowing about the Baha'i Faith, and also all my extended family was Christian. So I've had, lots of different religious influences, I guess.
So growing up as a Baha'i, typically there's a point in one's life when they sort of transition from following the religion of their parents to actually taking on the Baha'i faith for themselves as an individual. Sometimes the transition's fast, sometimes the transitions are slow. What was that for you?
I guess ever since I heard about the faith as a child, it always made sense to me. So I came in learning about the faith alongside my parents. So I feel like we were kind of learning and exploring it together. So I learned about all the different religions from Baha'i children's classes, and it kind of made sense to me that all these religions were from God, and that the Baha'i faith was, a religion that had the laws and the beautiful writings that really made me feel connected to our Creator. So even though when I turned 15, the age of maturity in the Baha'i faith, I knew I had a choice, but I always considered myself a Baha'i.
So I'm speaking with Chelsea Lee Smith, author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician. Chelsea, so I'd like to get into some of your works. You've authored two storybooks for children. One is called Garden of Virtues. Can you tell me what inspired you to write this book and what readers could find in the book?
Sure. So Garden of Virtues was a storybook that I put together because I wanted a book that could allow kids to try to identify different virtues in kind of a game-like way. A lot of books go through a story and tell the kids the answer, but in this book, I kind of made it like a quiz, which I thought my kids would enjoy, and I've gotten good feedback about it, so I think it is a bit fun. Basically, the premise is that some kids are working in a community garden, and they decide that they're going to be growing different virtues throughout the experience. So it goes through 10 different scenarios with children and asks the child to pick from 3 different virtues what virtue is being grown. And then on the next page, there's the answer with a description of the virtue.
I had asked you to pick a selection from that book. Which one did you choose?
I thought I would just go through one of the scenarios. So this one is just one of the scenarios that I mentioned. So it says, Bella finds many ripe peas in the garden. She picks some to share with her family and friends. What virtue is Bella growing? And then we have 3 plants at the bottom of the page with 3 different virtues: cleanliness, generosity, or determination. And then you have a picture of Bella holding some peas in a bowl that she's just picked. And then on the next page it says, Bella is growing generosity. Grow generosity by sharing what you have. Do your best to make sure everyone has enough. So basically that's similar to most of the the situations in the book. It just, child is doing something and then it asks what virtue are they growing.
That's great because it makes the child think, what is the child exemplifying, and then trying to link it to a name of what the virtue is.
Hmm.
And the second storybook that you wrote is called Mason's Greatest Gems. What inspired you to write that book, and what can folks find in that book?
Well, this book was a collaboration between myself and another author who lives in Canada, Elahe Bas, and she's an illustrator. I've been writing about virtues for kids and teaching kids about virtues for quite a few years, and I wanted a storybook that gave an analogy for what virtues are. So there's the beautiful quote in the writings, regard man as a mine rich in gems. So I thought that'd be a great kind of analogy for a virtue book. So basically, the story is that there's a little boy whose name is Mason because of the meaning related to rocks. And he goes outside and finds a piece of quartz. And when he comes inside, his mother uses it as a conversation starter for talking about what virtues are. So I gave the story to Elahe and we kind of finalized it together. And then she put the beautiful illustrations together. And one thing we tried to do with this book as well, because it's great to have diverse characters in books. So my husband is Samoan, so we kind of put a little Samoan twist in the characters there.
So I'm speaking with Chelsea Lee Smith, author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician. Chelsea, where can folks find these two books?
Yeah, the books are probably easiest to find on Amazon. You can also order them through my website, momentsaday.com. And Mason's Greatest Gems, as I mentioned, was a collaboration with Elahe Boss, who has a website, Plant Love Grow. She has a range of other wonderful storybooks for children.
Do you have more than one Baha'i inspired website about parenting or helping parenting
Hmm.
in addition to Moments a Day?
Yep. So basically, when I had two sons who were about probably ages 1 and 3 or 4 at the time, I was really looking for activities and resources to help them learn about different virtues. So I started a website with my sister-in-law, Panina Hidi, called enablemetogrow.com. And we started out the website offering ideas for celebrating holy days. The Baha'i community celebrates several holy days throughout the year, but there's no traditions attached to those holy days. So people can, celebrate it in different ways. And it's always fun to come up with ideas to help children develop an understanding of what the holy day is and, how we can be of service to others. So we created this website and I created a program for young children to introduce virtues in a systematic way, I guess, according to the Baha'i months. So there's 19 virtues, one for each of the Baha'i months, and we have a quote and a prayer that have been put to music. Then also 19 activities, so one for each day of the month associated with the virtue. So that program is called Radiant Hearts, and it's available on enablemetogrow.com. And it's just a free resource, basically, for parents around the world that we put together. And then after about a year of having this program, we were really interested in recording the prayers and quotations since we had 19 prayers and quotations for each of the virtues. And then also we wrote a prayer and quotation song for the period of Iyamiha at the end of the Baha'i year. We recorded a CD at that point.
So I'm speaking with Chelsea Lee Smith, author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician. So where can people find your blog?
So enablemetogrow.com, basically all the materials are related to the Baha'i faith. There's quotations and subjects related to the Baha'i community. And then also I have another website called momentsaday.com. And this is definitely a Baha'i inspired site because I use all of the inspiration I receive from the Baha'i writings, but the materials don't have any religious material with them, so there's no quotations or prayers, but there's still a lot of materials for kind of positive parenting and trying to help children develop positive qualities and things like that.
And you're a musician as well. You had produced a CD called At First Light. What inspired you to create this CD?
Well, as I was creating that program, the Radiant Hearts, which had the activities for virtues for kids. My husband and I figured out that it was so much easier for our son, who was 3 at the time, to memorize quotations and prayers when they were put to music. And we also wanted some quotations that were very easy for a child to understand, that was quite related to the virtues. So we picked out 19 quotations from Baha'u'llah and put those to music. So they're very short, just like a 1 or 1.5 minute song with the quotations. So basically we put together the music without really planning on recording a CD, but because everyone was using the little MP3s that we had stuck online, so we decided to go ahead and record a proper CD. And that was actually generously funded by a beautiful Baha'i lady in China called Karen Robarts, who paid for us to record the CD. So that was a really lovely act of service that she offered us to create the CD for families to use. And that's now available on cdbaby.com. Or if people just Google At First Light Baha'i CD or something, it would probably come up.
So I'm speaking with Chelsea Lee Smith, author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician, and we're talking about now her CD, At First Light. And I'd asked you to pick 2 selections. We'll start with the first selection, Source of Courage. Why you picked that one, and what should people listen for when they listen to that song?
Well, basically with the quotations in the CD, there are 19 and they're usually 1, sometimes 2 sentences. So I just chose one that I thought was, quite a nice quotation for people to memorize because it's talking about courage. So all of us have to be courageous in our lives, and especially when we're trying to be of service, sometimes we have to go out of our comfort zone and try something new.
These 2 selections, this one in particular, Source of Courage, again is quotations from the Baha'i writings put to music, correct?
Yes.
All right, so this first selection is Source of Courage.
The source of courage and power is the promotion of the Word of God and steadfastness in His love, in His love, in His love, in His love. The source of courage and power is the promotion of the Word of God and steadfastness in His love, in His love, in His love, in His love. The source of courage and power is the promotion of the Word of God and steadfastness in His love, in His love, in His love, in His love.
So I'm speaking with Chelsea Lee Smith, author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician, and we're talking about her music now. She produced a CD called At First Light, and we had heard her first selection called Source of Courage. So a second selection that you chose was I Have Wakened. So maybe you could explain to folks why you chose that selection to play on the interview.
So basically the CD At First Light contains 19 prayers. The CD's name At First Light was inspired by the quotation of Abdul Baha, which says, "Every day at first light, ye gather the Baha'i children together and teach them the communes and prayers." So I thought this prayer was appropriate since it's a prayer that you say in the morning, "I've wakened and I shelter."
So you mentioned Abdul Baha, who is the son of the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah. And so this is a prayer by Abdul Baha that you put to music. So this is
Yes,
called I
that's
Have
right.
Wakened.
I have wakened in my shelter, oh my God, and it becometh in that seeketh that shelter to abide within the sanctuary of thy protection and the stronghold of thy defense. Illumine my inner being, O my Lord, with the splendors of the day spring of thy revelation. Even as thou didst illumine my outer being with the morning light of thy favor. I have wakened in thy shelter, O my God, and it becometh him that seeketh a shelter to abide within the sanctuary of thy protection and the stronghold of thy defense. Illumine my inner being, O my Lord, with the splendors of the day spring of thy revelation. Even as thou didst illumine my outer being with the morning light of thy favor.
So I'm speaking with Chelsea Lee Smith, author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician. So Chelsea, where can people find At First Light?
You can either go on to CD Baby, which is like a really big collection of music, cdbaby.com, and put in At First Light, or there's links to it on my website, Enable Me to Grow. We also have a website for our musical duo, which is basically my husband and myself, called Soul Rise Melodies. So yeah, so that CD can be purchased either as MP3s, or we've just produced a hard copy. After quite a few years, we are just having the MP3s online, but we've recently, about 2 or 3 months ago, had them remastered and also put into one collection. So all 40 of the songs are now on one volume.
So I'm speaking with Chelsea Lee Smith, author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician. So Chelsea, you're also involved with the Wilmette Institute. Could you tell people what the Wilmette Institute is and what your involvement is?
So basically, the Wilmette Institute is an online Baha'i learning center for anyone who wants to learn about topics inspired by the writings of the Baha'i faith. So there's many different kind of departments. There's some that deal with kind of the history and the texts of the Baha'i writings. Then there's some philosophy, social transformation, spiritual development courses. The courses that I teach are under the marriage and family department. So I coordinate the parenting section. This year we've taught 6 courses. We're about to teach our 6th. They're basically subjects that different parents might want to study, and we use kind of inspiration from the Baha'i writings as well as some current research and explore the topic. We try to make it very action focused. So for example, we had a class on helping children and teens navigate media and screen time. So we explored what is the purpose of media according to the Baha'i writings, and trying to find ways for children to use media in a positive way instead of putting limits on screen time for the mere purpose of exerting parental control, but finding ways they can use it positively, and then discussing moderation and those types of things. So we have the media course, also talking about conscious parenting. Communication skills is the one that's coming up actually next week. So different courses where we just explore the Baha'i writings and try to become better parents.
So the title of Conscious Parenting sounds interesting. What is that about?
Mm-hmm. I guess with that course, we are focusing on children under 5. We have a unit on exploring parenting and the roles and responsibilities of parents according to the Baha'i writings. So we look at the writings of the founder of the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah, as well as Abdul Baha, his son, and break down the writings and figure out what they mean in a daily context. And then we have a unit on nurturing spiritual qualities in children. creating positive relationships even when there's challenges in the home or challenging behavior, and engaging in spiritual practices. So what does it look like to pray with children and develop a spiritual identity of the family?
So, Chelsea, with all the work that you do here, what do you think parents need help with the most?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, parenting today has really changed over the past few generations, especially. We've moved from neighborhoods and communities where we were all very supportive of each other and people had their extended family living nearby. And it was a totally different world than we live in today, where often families are far away from their grandparents and the aunties and uncles that used to support families, and as well as just the focus of society on competing with each other and not really being neighborly in the way that I think even I grew up with. So I think as far as parents today, I think we need to break down the barriers between the expectations that parents have on themselves. I know mothers in particular are often torn between their work inside and outside the home. As we're going through these big changes, I think it's great for people to really be conscious of the way they're living their lives and reaching out to one another and trying to get support and find a way to move forward. So I think having that community, whether it's in your neighborhood or an online community or faith community, it's really important for parents to feel like they have support and your resources to help them with their goals for their families.
So, I'm speaking with Chelsea Lee Smith, author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician. So, Chelsea, do any of your resources provide that online community aspect?
I have various Facebook pages, for example, associated with my two websites, Enable Me to Grow and momentsaday.com. The biggest way I'm offering that is through the Wilmette Institute courses. So it's just a way for people to study and explore together and hopefully create a sense of, moving ahead and delving into studying the Baha'i writings and figuring out how to apply them in the current context.
Well, Chelsea, thank you so much for talking about your work in this very important area of parenting, and hopefully folks will take advantage of your resources. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with Chelsea Lee Smith, author, certified parent educator, blogger, and musician. I'll post links to her work on the website abahaiperspective.com, where you can also find this interview and other interviews. You can also find this interview on my YouTube channel, A Baha'i Perspective. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes by searching for A Baha'i Perspective. For information specifically on the Baha'i Faith, you can go to the website baha'i.org, or you can call the number 1-800-22-UNITE. I hope you join me next time on A Baha'i Perspective.
Open the window and let in the light. Open the door to your heart tonight. Free the spirit that's locked uptight. Open the door to your heart. Open the window and let in the dawn. Let in the song that goes on and on. Sing its melody, but be the song. Open the door to your heart. Sing, sing This moment becomes the past. Once gone, it will not come back. Open the door to your heart. Open the window and let in the dream. No, this world is not what it may seem. Yours the power to shine a light. Open the door to your heart. Sing, sing, it will not last. This moment becomes the past. Once gone, it will not come back. Open the door to your heart. Open the window and let in the rain. Let it wash over and heal your pain. Life passes, but love remains. Open the door to your heart. Life passes, but love remains. Open the door to your heart. Open the door to your
O Son of Being, 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 O Son of Being. Love me, that I may love thee. Love me, that I may love thee. Love me, that I may love thee. O Son of Being, love me, that I may love thee. Love me, that I may love thee. that I may love thee, O Son of being. If thou lovest me not, if thou lovest me not, if thou lovest me not, my love can in no wise reach thee, no wise reach thee, no wise reach thee. Know this, if thou lovest me not, 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 my love can in no wise reach thee, no wise reach thee, no wise reach thee. Know this, know this, know this, O servant.
Whoso reciteth in the privacy of his chamber the verses revealed by God, the scattering angels of the Almighty shall scatter abroad the fragrance of the words uttered by his mouth, and shall cause the heart of every righteous man to throb, and shall cause the heart of every righteous man to throb. Entone the verses of God that have been received by thee, as intoned by them who have drawn nigh unto him. Let the sweetness of thy melody may kindle thine own soul, and attract the hearts of all men. Though he may at first remain unaware of its effect, yet the virtue of the grace vouchsafed unto him must needs sooner or later exercise its influence upon his soul. Entone the verses of God that have been received by thee, as intoned by them who have drawn nigh unto him. Let the sweetness of thy melody may kindle thine own soul, and attract the hearts of all men. Let the sweetness of thy melody may kindle thine own soul, and attract the hearts of all men.
Pupil of the eye, the source of our vision, teachings of a holy man who spoke to us from prison. Pupil of the eye, the Creator's gift of sight, a gift for all humanity, seekers of the light. There are so many things we say that influence the mind. Those hidden little messages that are so hard to find. To show just one example, let's talk about a color. How black is shown as negative in one way or another. Of course, we know that's not the case when we refer to white. In fact, we use the color white to represent what's right. But those of us that have a tone that's of a darker hue see blackness in a different light, another point of view. Pupil of the eye, the source of our vision, teachings of a holy man who spoke to us from prison. Pupil of the eye, the Creator's gift of sight, a gift for all humanity, seekers of the light. Sounds that enter through the ear, melodies of old, orchestrating different notes to touch and soothe the soul. A symphony of music, creating harmony, appreciating differences with its diversity. A special walk, that soulful talk, flavored with pizzazz. Innovative music, just listen to some jazz. Reggae, hip-hop, samba, and don't forget the blues. Ways to find expression, years of paying dues. Pupil of the eye, the source of our vision, teachings of a holy man who spoke to us from prison. Pupil of the eye, the Creator's gift of sight, a gift for all humanity, seekers of the light. The queen of class and dignity, Oprah, seen and heard. America's classical music, from Duke, Diz, and Bird. International leadership with strength, yet always calm. Promoting peace and unity, Mr. Kofi Annan. Uplifting words that touch your heart, from Maya Angelou. A pioneer in medicine, Dr. Charles Drew. Arthur Ashe and Jim Brown speaking out, they weren't afraid. Marva Collins and Bill Cosby helping youth to make great. Pupil of the eye, the source of our vision, teachings of a holy man who spoke to us from prison. Pupil of the eye, the Creator's gift of sight, a gift for all humanity, seekers of the light. Malcolm Martin Mandela, standards for the world, to make this earth a better place for every boy and girl. Beige and brown and black and white, a variety of colors, yet one human family, all sisters and brothers, bearing burdens from the past, enslaved and sometimes sold, enduring untold horrors while survival was the goal. But darkness equals mystery, a search for the unknown. Seeking spirituality, we know we're not alone. earth's human garden we see before our eyes, representing unity if we only realize.
But as we care for flowers, so none will be neglected. Humanity is much the same. We all must be respected.
Pupil of the eye, the source of our vision, teachings of a holy man who spoke to us from prison. Pupil of the eye, the creator's gift of sight, a gift for all humanity, seekers of the light. Yes, we're seekers of the light.
Seekers of the light.
Baha'i, world unity is what we need for you and me.
Freed from my subservience and subjugated turbulence, I took the earliest opportunity to be like Perseus. So the next time that I'm looking for confirmations, I look up to the sky and I embrace the constellations. These words flow fresh from my mouth like I'm coughing mints. There is a higher power and it's dropping hints on how to reach spiritual opulence. The copy prints that box me and were trying to stop me since I broke free and saw the rays of the sunshine. But once you're found, you can never unfind. So breathe in, breathe out, and begin to reach out. Yeah. I remember those times that I got cheated out, but now I'm a changed man, moving fast like a cheetah's mouth. My mistakes, they look small like snakes look to an eagle's snout. I'm a leader now, I'll give you something you can blast through your speakers now. I'll give you something that lasts, I'll send a beacon now. And when you hear it, don't fear it, believe it loud. We are not robots, we are the people now. You're better than the gossip that you tweet about. Nobility is yours, be it now. So breathe in, breathe out, and begin to reach out. This is my cognizant hypothesis. What you believe could be opposite. I believe in God and in His providence. I have confidence. All these broken promises in the metropolis is so bottomless. Living this anonymous life without consequence makes the populace so homogenous. Your racism is still dominant. From the cowboy boots to the moccasins, fake tolerance is so prominent. It's an accomplishment to be honest with your consciousness and just honor it. The prophecies are fulfilled because Baha'i is upon us now. Yeah. I am, oh my God, what a tiny seed. Reaching out, shine your light on me.
I'm stuck. Funny how they call it a free country when all you ever feel is trapped. It's like everywhere I go, there's an ocean between me and whatever makes me happy. It's like every time I open my eyes, my eyelids just don't want to stay open. I open my windows only to shut my blinds, keeping all the lights on and still feeling dark on the inside. I can't hold a conversation. My friend asks me what the weather's like. I tell him to take a rain check because it never stops raining on the rolling hills to my cheekbones. Sometimes I just hate myself. Every single thing someone says about me hits like gunshots raining down on my chest. Maybe we were just wired this way. They tell you to find your happy place, but they never leave you a compass. All they leave you is alone, desperately trying to find some air while drowning in your own despair. There's always a wall, always another hurdle. They tell you just to be strong so you can push them down, but you're out of breath, wondering how the people that made you this way could sink so low. Soaked in all the troubles, all the responsibilities, and so much pressure. It feels like the pain is filling up your lungs, suffocating your breath, drowning out your voice. Trust me, I know how you feel. I'm just here to reach out to you.
Fleeting shadow, oh fleeting shadow, pass beyond the basic stages of doubt. Hallowed be the Lord. Oh, fleeting shadow, fleeting shadow, pass beyond the basic stages of doubt. And rise and rise to the exalted heights. Rise to the heights of certainty. Open the eye of truth, that thou mayest behold the veilless beauty. Open the eye of truth and exclaim, hallowed be the Lord. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The most excellent of all creators.
shower of grace, river of love, ocean of peace and truth. This joyous world, a divine play. All this we are. Om.
This is WXOJLP Northampton, 103.3 FM, your Valley Free Radio station, streaming at www.valleyfreeradio.org.